He's back. Trump just won the 2024 presidential election last night. And look, hindsight's 2020, but I got to say, I knew he was coming back. I can tell you the exact moment that I knew. There was an exact moment. It was way back in like May of 2023. And he went on this CNN town hall. Like, people hadn't seen him in a while. They kind of forgot about him. And he goes into the CNN. Like, again, a network that has pretty much made it a sport to roast the dude for years, right? And dude just strolls in like it's his own living room. And they ask him about this story with, Gene Carroll or whatever. So you were held liable, blah, 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 blah. What do you think of this? And he goes, well, her cat was named Vagina.
Her cat was named Vagina. The judge wasn't allowed to put that in. All of these things.
And everyone in the room just starts laughing their fucking ass off. Again, these people probably went there to boo him. And the whole fucking time, it's like a stand-up comedy show. They're like, this guy's fucking hilarious. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, yo, he's coming back. He's coming back. And lo and behold, here we are. So why am I telling you all this? I mean, look, I get it. Not everyone's a big fan of Trump. In fact, half the country fucking hates him. But whether you love him or hate him, there's something very important to pay attention to here. The dude has charisma. And not just any kind of normal charisma, but the kind that can literally just bulldoze through anything you stack up against him. I mean, everybody saw what happened last night on Tuesday. He won because he knows how to connect with people on a very real and visceral level. And look, there's a ton you can criticize about him. Obviously, he's got controversies up the ass, the character issues, the gaps in policy, et cetera, et cetera. But the dude has this amazing ability to make people feel something. Right? He fills a room with his presence. He knows how to connect in a way that goes past logic right to the gut, and people respond to that. And on the other hand, there's Kamala Harris. I mean, she's smart. She's got, a handle on policy, but her style's more logical. It's reserved. It's got that classic, like, politician's polish. In fact, I was watching the debate, and that's literally what I said. I'm like, look, she seems very polished, and while that might seem ideal for somebody who's handling these complex issues with our country, it doesn't always translate to passion. It's like she's speaking to the mind, but she's missing the heart, right? People just didn't rally around her with that same energy. And that's what I want to talk about today. Not just how he did it, but how you can take some of these lessons and use them in your own life to level up. Because at the end of the day, charisma is not some magic fucking potion reserved for politicians and celebrities. It's a skill. And my job is to show you how it can help you succeed in your career, your relationships, or just everyday interactions you have with people. So let's talk about what really went down in this election. I think the way a lot of people think about politics, they assume it's like the policies, who's got the best plans, who's got the smartest solutions. And yeah, that makes sense on paper. But if there's one thing that this 2024 election proved, policy alone does not decide the election. Charisma does. And Trump has a whole charismatic arsenal that sets him apart. It's one thing to have a strong personality or whatever, but it's quite another to have that energy that just pulls people in, that gets them fucking fired up and actually makes them want to do something about it. Trump's emotional appeal, what's known as pathos in classical logic, or in persuasion, Ciceronian persuasion, that's his secret weapon, right? The dude is a lifelong performer. He's an entertainer. He knows how to entertain a crowd. He's up there, he's cracking jokes, he's throwing a little sarcasm. And yeah, he says a lot of wacky, controversial shit. But that's what hooks people. He's mirroring their frustrations, their dreams, their fears, and he plays off that energy. And once he's got him in that space, then he can lead him wherever he wants, right? Emotion is the secret weapon of charisma and persuasion. It's that emotional appeal that makes people actually take action. And look, that's the distinction here. It's one thing to get people to like you, like, oh, this guy seems cool. Another to make them trust you. Like, oh, I think I trust this person. But it's quite another to get somebody to actually get up off their ass and take action on your behalf. Like going out and voting, for example. That requires you to instill an actual deep, burning passion and desire inside of them to do it. You can't just hit people with facts. Have you ever tried to convince somebody logically to sleep with you? Like, I think logically you should fuck me, and here's all the reasons why you should do it. So many probably have. And it doesn't work very well, does it? No. bottom line, you got to get people to feel something, right? Trump definitely knows how to tap into feelings like anger, patriotism, nostalgia. Think about his classic "Make America Great Again" slogan. And by the way, this hat was given to me by Brandon Carter. If you know who Brandon Carter is, the fitness influencer dude, Mr. Clean. He gave this to me in Miami in 2015. He's like, "Hey, Jeff, I got something for you." Right when Trump was getting started. And I remember I had it sitting on my desk or something, and I went on a Tinder date, and it was going really well. And then when I got her home, we're about to hook up, and she sees this, and she's like, "Wait, what the fuck?" She's like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like, "Oh, my friend got it for me." She's like, "Nah, dude, fucking racist." Like, no. I'm like, no, he's black. It's okay. He's black. She's like, "Fuck you." Just runs out the house. So, since then, I live in San Francisco. I keep this in the attic. But as I brought it, I decided to bring it out for the video. It's a very special occasion. The hat comes down. So thanks, Brandon. Thanks. But again, this "Make America Great Again," that slogan, it's not just words. It's an emotional rallying cry, right? It brings out the sense of pride, but also, a little competitive jealousy. Like, yeah, we used to be the best. Let's get back to that. Like, yeah, we deserve better than this. And that's when people start to move. Anger and outrage are perhaps the most powerful motivators you can have. People are pissed, whether it's at the system, the rival group that seems to be doing better, or even it's somebody they disagree with online. They feel this intense urge to just do something. It's like that quote from Tyler Durden in Fight Club. We've all been raised to believe one day we'd be movie gods and rock stars, and we won't. And we're learning that fact, and we're very, very pissed off. That's an emotional setup, right? It's not about facts or solutions. It's painting a picture, showing the audience something that they can feel. And that's what Trump does, right? He doesn't get into complex plans. He has a concept of a plan. He just hits you with a feeling, like an image of what could be, and that's what pulls people in. And think about it. We're in this media saturated world now. People are bombarded from every direction with facts and information, but what they really respond to, emotions. You can throw out all the logical arguments you want, the facts, the figures, the policy breakdowns. If it's not hitting on an emotional level, it's just not going to stick. So by keeping things simple and direct, Trump made sure every single voter can understand him, even if they didn't dive into the details. So if you're trying to persuade somebody to do something, you start with their mood, right? Change their mood, not their mind. That's what we've been saying for years. You go in, you create a good vibe, you connect on an emotional level, not a logical level, and then you can slowly guide them to where you want it to go, right? This isn't just in politics. This is universal. You can use this in conversations, presentations, even in something like getting romantic with someone you just met at a bar, right? You don't go in with the hard sell, like what that mouth do. Although that is a great line. But obviously not. You start by creating that vibe. You let them feel like they're having a good time. Slowly layering in what we like to call statements of intent, SOIs, little hints that you're interested. But there's no rush. There's no pressure, right? You're smooth. You're casual. You're just nonchalant. And by the time you get to the point, they're already in the mood. They're ready to go with you. That's charisma. It's not about twisting their arms or hammering them with logical arguments. It's about making them want to be on your side because they feel something real when they're with you. That's what Trump understands. And anyone can learn this if they want to have the same kind of impact. Now let's talk about something that Trump does better than pretty much anyone I've ever seen ever. And that's frame control. And it's not just about what he says, but how he positions himself and his message to control how people see him and how they see his ideas, right? It's like he sets the rules for the conversation and keeps everything on his terms at all times. In fact, his whole campaign strategy is built around frame control. He controlled the narrative. He didn't just say he was the one who could fix things. He framed himself as the only one who could fix things, right? That's a power frame. And, when he says something like, "I alone can fix it. I'm the only one," it's ridiculous. It's bold as fuck. It's a bit, it's laden with audacity, but that's the point. He's telling people look, nobody else has the balls to fix this shit. Only I can do it. And to a lot of people, that's absolutely magnetic, right? They see him as somebody who's got this superhuman confidence. Like he's the answer they've been waiting for. But where Trump really takes frame control to the next level is this. No matter what happened, no matter the criticism, the controversies, he never breaks his frame, ever. His commitment to the frame is unshakable. If he gets called out, he doesn't defend himself. He doesn't backtrack. No, he doubles down. He repeats the frame. He just keeps the focus. And when someone sticks to their frame, it just makes it stronger. Like when you see somebody standing resolute like that, like never faltering on the frame, it sends a signal. It's like this person knows what they're talking about. That unwavering commitment, that's what makes the frame convincing. And that confidence becomes contagious. So this is key. It's an absolutely vital component of frame control. When you set a strong frame, you cannot let anyone pull you out of it. And if you can hold that frame just rock fucking solid, eventually people will start to see it your way. You know, so the Trump frames that he employs, they weren't just campaign strategies. They were entire belief systems that people bought into. And that's what makes framing so powerful. It's not about what you say, but how you make people see. And that confidence is probably the single most important factor, at least I'd say, in his appeal. You know, he doesn't just deliver a message. He projects this unshakable belief in what he's saying. When Trump gets on stage, he doesn't just talk. He literally owns the space. He owns the entire stage. You know, his body language, his vocal tone, even things like how he'll pause and let the words kind of hang in the air to sink in. It all sends a message of complete and absolute conviction. And here's the thing. That confidence, it doesn't come from like polished, you know, technical speaking skills. He's not hitting every word perfectly or giving like a textbook speech. In fact, when he speaks on the teleprompter and he's reading off it, he fucking sucks. You know, instead, it's when he's off the cuff and he has that belief in what he's saying, that passion. That's what makes him come across as authentic, you know, when he's truly in the moment. And when you see someone like that who's just so sure of themselves, it kind of just makes you want to follow him. You know, it's magnetic. It attracts people because they want to feel that same sense of certainty, right? Whatever you feel, they feel. And Trump is a master of projecting that, right? He gives people a sense of security because they think like, you know, if he believes in it, maybe I should too. Now, as much as Trump's charisma like worked in his favor, Kamala Harris, on the other hand, had, you know, some challenges in that arena. And the big one, I think, was just emotional resonance. You know, people, they're not just looking for competence. They're looking for someone they can feel connected to. And quite frankly, Harris, I feel, kind of struggled to make that connection. You know, when she's on stage, she's, again, very polished. She focuses on policy details. She puts facts, you know, statistics, logical arguments. And look, she's incredibly knowledgeable. Obviously, she's very experienced. But, you know, here's the thing. While competence is respected, it's not always enough to like win the hearts. Obviously, people just didn't feel as moved by her message. You know, contrast with Trump, who brings that very raw, unfiltered energy. He's not trying to win people over with technical explanations. He's making you feel something. And then, of course, there was the issue of like authenticity or perceived authenticity. And this is kind of where things got tricky for Harris, I think. You know, there are a lot of moments in her campaign where she'd, you know, try to switch things up or, you know, crack a laugh or use like little colloquial expressions to connect with different audiences. A lot of those moments did not always come across as super genuine. These moments where she'd like try to change her accent. You know, she'd go to Georgia. It's like, hey, y'all, how you know? It's like, what are you doing? Or the worst, I think, was like when she tried to throw slang in. She was on like BET or something. It was right after the Drake-Kendrick beef where he had released that diss track, They Not Like Us, talking to the host. And she's like, well, you know, Taraji, I'm out in these streets, girl.
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And let me tell you, you're right, Taraji. These extremists, as they say, they not like us. Nah, they not.
I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? It's literally like the most nuclear cringe shit I've ever fucking seen. Like, they not like us. Like, they not like us. They not like us. It just felt like she was trying way too hard to be relatable in a way that just was not natural for her at all. Like, and of course, instead of drawing people in, it came across as a very like calculated move. How to connect with diverse audiences. Compare that to Trump, who, you know, like him or not, he's bluntly himself at all times, unapologetic. He's not like code switching to different crowds. He just shows up as he is. And that consistency makes him feel very authentic. You know, he's being true to himself. And in this era, you know, where people just crave that realness, that blunt style can be surprisingly attractive. You know, when I go out, I say a lot of fucked up shit myself. I'll say absolutely ridiculous shit that you would think. I can't say that. I'll tell students will hear me saying this stuff, and they'll be like, I can't say that. People will get angry. And then they see people responding well, and they're like, minds are blown. Why? Because it's non-needy. When you're coming across as trying to like micromanage other people's perceptions of you or like pandering to what you think they might like, what's the subcommunication there? It's like, please like me, please like me. Whereas a person who needs it to work isn't going to say this shit. So again, it's subcommunicating non-neediness. Authenticity, it's not about pleasing everybody or adapting to every different person you meet or every crowd. It's about staying true to who you are, even if not everybody likes it. So Harris's attempts to connect, it might have been well-intentioned, but in the end, the voters sensed that disconnect. In contrast, Trump felt real, and evidently that resonated with people. So here's the bottom line. If there's one thing we can learn from this election, it's charisma isn't just a nice thing to have. It's a must-have. In today's world, everybody's vying for attention. Everybody's trying to make an impact. Charisma is going to be the key that separates the winners from the losers. And it's not just one thing. It's a whole range of skills. What we used to call it a skill set. And when you put those together, it's very powerful. You know, there's projecting confidence. You know, showing up like you mean it through your body language, your voice, your whole fucking vibe. It's that unshakable self-assurance that makes people like sit up and take notice, even if you're saying something bold or controversial. Then you got frame control, you know, shaping the way that people see a situation to see it your way. And of course, connecting emotionally as opposed to trying to change their mind. And that's the heart of charisma. And then, you know, last but not least, authenticity. It's like, yes, projecting confidence is crucial, but people also want to see the real you, right? They want to feel like they know you, flaws and all. And that's ultimately what builds that deep trust and connection. And again, charisma, it's not just for politicians or celebrities. It's for literally anybody who wants to succeed in life. Whether you're in business, you're trying to level up in your career, or you just want to connect better with the people you meet. This charisma is not optional. It's a necessity for anyone who's actually looking to stand out and make an impact in their life and in the world. And that's what I offer in my programs. And I've been doing that for 22 years. So if you're serious about taking your communication skills to the next level, join me on a boot camp. It's a live program. And over the course of a weekend, I'll teach you how to unlock every single one of these skills. We're not just going to talk about it. You're going to practice it. You're going to experience it. And you're going to walk out with real game-changing confidence, right? It's not just some lecture. As I said, it's a live experience where I demonstrate it live out in the real world, and then I give you the techniques and you try them out yourself. And you will leave this program ready to lead, ready to connect, ready to inspire, whether you're talking to a crowd or one-on-one. So if you're ready to take control of how people see you, you want to learn the skills that make the difference in how you connect and how you lead, I'll see you on a boot camp, right? Links in the description for that program. Hit it up and let's get to work. This has been Jeffy, and I'll see you next time.
Jeffy.